We're headed into a new season, and we're not talking about meteorological seasons.
No, not meteorological spring. We're talking about tax season, and we're going to make tax season fun.
Yes.
So that there will be no confusion about the new tax law, and we'll tell you what has really changed, if anything, for filing your 2017 taxes in a few weeks. And joining us tonight is Alan Osmolowski of the firm BlumShapiro. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. We know that the tax changes are for the 2018 tax year. So for the 2017 returns, which we're about to be filing, no changes, right?
For individual taxpayers, that's correct. For taxpayers that have international operations, there's certain aspects that can affect 17. But for your return, yeah.
Broadly speaking, big changes for individuals, big changes for businesses.
The need to revise corporate taxation and international tax is kind of what drove tax reform. So there's a lot of more sweeping changes there, but there's also a lot of changes in the bill that affect individual taxpayers.
Right.
And many for the better.
So explain the deductions that changed, Ed.
Yep.
Right? We have here the changes for people, the standard deduction. Go through some of these for us.
Sure. So one of the big changes for individual taxpayers is the standard deduction has increased. For married filing joint, it's gone up to $24,000, which is double what it was previously. It's half that if you're filing single. And that's a big increase in that deduction for a lot of taxpayers. In conjunction with that, the deduction on your federal return for state taxes, for state income taxes and local property taxes has now been capped at $10,000. So for some taxpayers, that's going to make a difference negatively, but for a lot of taxpayers, that $24,000 standard deduction is going to make up for it, and then some.
That's really good. The president talked a lot about simplifying the tax code. He would have the big, thick IRS, code. Is it really possible for people to start filing on a postcard?
I don't have good news there. We're not going to be filing on a postcard yet.
That's the goal.
Yes. But some things have gotten simpler. The larger standard deduction is going to make it a lot easier for some people to file their personal returns and not have to itemize. In the area of corporate tax and international tax, that's probably got a little more complicated.
Yeah.
It got more complicated because there's a question of, do you want to be a pass-through? Do you want to be a filing as a larger corporation, a C?
Yes, correct.
Who's paying more? Who's paying less? If you could boil it down to something that simple.
So in terms of individual taxpayers, if you have a high level of income and we're relying on the state tax deduction, you might wind up paying more. Because of the increase in the standard deduction and the fact that tax rates at all levels have pretty much gone down by a few percent, and changes to the child tax credit, a lot of middle-income families are going to do better with this.
And you want to check your withholding?
Yes.
Right?
The IRS has just recently released new guidance for employers for withholding, so you may see a change in your paycheck in the next few weeks, hopefully favorable, so you may want to look for that.
All right, and what about for the married income and single filers?
Yeah, so in terms of the rates for individuals, as I mentioned, those have gone down pretty much for all brackets. If you were in the 15% bracket previously, you could be in the 12% bracket now. If you were in the 25% bracket previously, you'd be in the 22% bracket now. So
people are getting their 1099s together, all their receipts and paperwork for whoever helps them for this year. Anything you can be doing now that will kind of, this year will be under the old system as you prepare for a year from now? Anything you can do that can help yourself be more organized or prepared?
Yeah, so I think especially for business owners, if you have a small business, you have to ask yourself, should I remain as an S corporation if you are one, or should it be a C corp? So really to sit down with your tax advisor and have a discussion about what this means for you. We've been doing a lot of projections and modeling for our clients to analyze that. For individual taxpayers, look at your withholding and estimated tax payments.
One of the little interesting tidbits you noted, alimony. If you pay alimony, you're no longer paying taxes on your alimony.
Correct, yes. For divorces occurring for 2018 and after, the recipient of alimony is no longer taxed on it, and the person paying it no longer gets a deduction for it. So
interesting. One upside.
Yeah.
After a downside.
Yes.
Alan Osmolowski, thanks so much from BlumShapiro.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to get some forecasts now with Eric. What's going on?
Yeah.